Okay, so Stan, you're clearly an inspiration to so many people. But what I want to know from you is, in your opinion, what do comics teach us?
Well, I think the one thing certainly that comics help with is reading ability. Very often in school, the teacher says, I want you to read Dickens, and the kid reads it, and sometimes grudgingly.
Mr. A is based on Ayn Rand's theory of justice, on Aristotle's law of identity, his definition of man, and his view of art. Aristotle said that art is philosophically more important than history. History tells how men did act, art shows how men could and should act. Art creates a model, an ideal man as a measuring standard. Without a measuring standard, nothing can be identified or judged, but everything can be measured. Disease and sicknesses are measured by a healthy organ or body.
I see that story first. I feel that story first. I know those people first. When I put them down, they've already lived. And I put them down as I'd like them to live on those pages. My stories are very sincere. My stories are people's stories. And there's elements in my stories that are very, very real. And it doesn't matter what the subject is. And I've done stories in a wide range of subjects.
I read your story and I liked it, signed Charles Smith. And the answer would be, Dear Charles, thank you very much, the editor. Well, I decided to run letters pages, but I wanted to make them friendly. I wanted the kids to feel a part of Marvel. So even if somebody wrote a letter that said, Dear Editor to me, when I printed it, I wrote, Dear Stan. I changed the word editor to Stan. And when I answered the letter, instead of saying, Dear Charles, I'd say something like, Hey, thanks a lot, Charlie, you know. And I tried to keep the tone friendly, as if I'm a guy they know and we're just talking together. And after a while, it became very natural. And after a while, all the letters, Hey, Stan, I loved your story. Hey, Stan, I hated your story, whatever it was. But it was like they knew me and I knew them. I'd like to think of myself as an entertainer. I feel if I can entertain people in any way, it's very gratifying. Because it's a funny thing. Years ago, I used to feel somewhat embarrassed that I was writing comics. I felt there are men building bridges and working in laboratories on cures for illness and doing real things, and I'm writing these comic books. But over the years, I've learned how much joy these comic books have brought to people. And I began to realize that entertainment is very important in people's lives.
Mr. A's black and white card symbolizes the law of identity. It identifies the two moral potentials possible, the good and the evil. And by one's chosen action, the best or the worst potential can be actualized.
Anyone passing by his Southern California home, Jack looks like anything but a muscle-bound superhero. But according to him, it's what's inside the mind that counts.
There are areas of Marvel that certainly make more money than publishing does. You know, we could certainly make a lot more money out of a blockbuster movie than we could out of a year's worth of publishing. But there's a very important line of distinction that has to be defined here, and that's that none of these other aspects, video games, television, animation, cinema, none of this stuff would happen without publishing. So at Marvel, you know, at least the way that I view it, my philosophy is that if you looked at Marvel as a wheel, and every one of and the wheel had spokes, and there was a spoke that went to movies and a spoke that went to each of the creative divisions, including licensing and things of that sort. At the center of that wheel is publishing. Everything starts with publishing. It is our R&D division. It is our brain. Everything. It's our DNA. It just stems right from there. And as you look at our movies, and as you look at the cartoon shows that we're going to be producing, you'll always notice that there are and there is immediate connective tissue to what has been going on in publishing. You will very rarely, if ever, see a new character pop up in a movie or a cartoon show.
A number of people have been worried about my left hand. And I really appreciate their concern because they noticed that I wasn't using it in a normal way. It was injured. This hand is now fine. I've no problem with it at all. But strangely enough, there seems to be something going along with this hand. I'll figure it out, but it's very mysterious, really.